Everybody wants to grab a seat. My name's Howie Holmes, I'm from Orchard Park, and I kind of thought this would be a good idea to put this together this year because we had so many candidates. First time in a long time that we had candidates. So I got in touch with the league and asked them if they'd like to do it, and they said certainly they would. And I think this is the first of 4 this week, I think, isn't it, Tony? 3 anyway. But this is a league affair, it's their format and their rules, and from here on in, the league is taking over and will be in charge of everything.
Thank you. Thank you, Howard.
Yay, Howard.
Good evening, everyone. I am Timothy Priano of the League of Women Voters of Buffalo, Niagara, and delighted to be here to moderate this evening. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that encourages informed and active participation in citizens and government. The League works to influence public policy through education and advocacy. We never endorse or oppose candidates or political parties. The League is not only for women, membership is open to everyone age 16 and up. We envision a democracy where every person has the desire, the right, and the knowledge, and the confidence to participate. The ground rules for the candidate forum. The League of Women Voters of Buffalo, Niagara will not permit substitutes for candidates at debate forums conducted by the League. A candidate must be present at the forum conducted by the League to present his or her statement and to display campaign literature. If a candidate cannot attend a debate forum, he or she may submit a brief statement that explains his or her absence to be read by the moderator. There must be at least 2 candidates for each office presented to conduct the forum. We have been informed that there's no candidate for the Conservative Party we have been informed that no candidates from the Conservative Party will be available this evening. Paul Kissinger is unable to attend because of his work. Andrew Stotman, candidate for the Highway Superintendent, is here this evening and will be happy to talk with you. Because his opponent has not come, the League cannot give him time to speak during the event. His opponent never responded to our invitations. Presentations should be strictly confined to issues, not personalities. Members of the audience are encouraged to submit questions in writing on their cards provided by our ushers. The questions will be related to issues that are related to Erie County Controller, Erie County Legislator, questions to the Orchard Park Town Supervisor and the Orchard Park Town Council. Candidates draw numbers for the evening to determine their place of opening statements. The closing statements will be in the reverse of the opening statement. Election material will not be permitted in the meeting room. A table outside the room has been provided for this purpose. Lori Robinson or Suzanne Thomas will be the only authorized recording of this event. It will be posted in entirety on the League YouTube channel by Wednesday. Only licensed media, including TV, radio, and newspapers, are entitled to air a portion of the recording in keeping with the Federal Communications Commission regulations. All others who air this recording may do so only in its entirety. No one is permitted to publicly display edited footage, comments by opponents, or paraphrase quotes in any manner. We request that the audience members turn off their cell phones at this time. Keep them turned off throughout the event. We expect that the audience will be attentive and civil and make no response to what the candidates say, whether you agree or disagree with their views. We also request that you refrain from applause until the forum is completed. We seek to provide all candidates with the greatest amount of time to respond to the questions. Format for tonight's forum: our timekeeper, Ellen Wells, will raise a green paddle when the speaker has 1 minute left, a yellow paddle when there's 15 seconds left, and a red stop paddle when time has elapsed. The candidates are never expected to stop when completing the sentence that they've spoken at that time. Opening statement. Each candidate has 2 minutes for an opening statement. Biographical sketches and platforms outlined are usually present. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. If candidates need less time to respond, we will then ask for 2 more questions. I will be asking written questions submitted by members of the audience. League member Terry Parks is screening questions for vulgarity, profanity, appropriateness, and redundancy. All questions must be directed to the candidates for that office. Questions will be asked of candidates in a rotating order. Closing statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement to summarize their thoughts, to reiterate points brought forth during the meeting. This forum is designed to be a dialogue between the audience and candidates. It's not a debate. Candidates for the Orchard Park Town Supervisors, Marie Mann and Joseph Libertero.
Close. It's okay.
Liberty. I am happy to repeat any questions if you need me to, or that when you're time to respond. It is important that each one uses only as much time as needed to respond to questions. We can move to the next person without any introduction. I will introduce the candidates in reverse order for concluding statements. Closing statements should be in about 7:50 or earlier if all questions have been asked. We will start with our opening statements from Marie Mann.
Good evening. Thank you for being here, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting. I'm Marie Mann, and I'm running for Town Supervisor. I have spent over 20 years leading teams and managing multi-million-dollar budgets in a highly regulated industry. I know how to listen, solve problems, and make complex systems work for people. My husband, my 2 boys, and I chose Orchard Park for its top-rated schools, historic character, and quality of life. Since moving here, I've rolled up my sleeves. I'm a volunteer at my children's school. I'm the PTO treasurer. And for the last year, I've worked as a substitute teacher in the OP school district. I've spent the last few months knocking on doors and talking to neighbors, and what I heard is simple. People love this town, but too many decisions feel rushed and top down. People don't feel heard. The ability to participate is limited to the Insider Friends and Family Club and donors. Take the stadium. Our community was provided with a once-in-a-generation opportunity with a $2 billion investment. The vision the residents were promised was a transformational sports and entertainment zone. And last fall, the board pushed through broad rezoning that prioritized friends and political donors and not the residents. I think that it's important that I'm running for supervisor to build a government that listens and delivers. It means smart growth that fits our town. It means making sure every dollar is invested in what our families actually need, with no more surprises at Town Hall. You deserve to know what's happening before decisions are made. And if you believe that Orchard Park is a community that puts if you believe that Orchard Park should put community before insiders, protect what we love, and plan for what we need, I'm asking for your vote so we can build a stronger Orchard Park for ourselves, our children, and our future. Thank you.
Joseph.
Hello, my fellow Quakers. My name is Joe Liberty, and thank you to the League of Women Voters and everyone in the room. Appreciate you coming here tonight. I know you're spending time away from your friends and family, so really appreciate your support. I'm running for Town Supervisor to bring Orchard Park the kind of leadership it deserves, principled, practical, and focused on real results. As a longtime resident, I care deeply about our town and its future. I am blessed with 3 exceptional children and a smart, beautiful wife, Dawn, my partner for life for the past 29 years. I've been deeply engaged in our community, coaching Little League, soccer, and serving on the zoning and planning boards for over 2 decades. I still remember bringing my kids to the residents' home and visiting them to see what their project looks like. We listened firsthand to what the neighbors needed and seeing each case through the lens of our town's future. I spent my career running a small business and leading multi-site HR operationals where precision, accountability, and safety are not optional. They are the standard. I built strong teams, negotiated benefits, and translated complex regulations into real-world solutions. I believe deeply in listening and leading with transparency. That's why I initiated Orchard Park's first ever public forum on the stadium project. An effort made possible with the support of Julie Mombre, Scott Honer, and John Mariano. This was a landmark moment for our town, giving the residents a direct voice in shaping one of our most impactful decisions. In fact, we conducted 3 such forums that are committed to continue, and we're continuing to continue this model of open town hall style governance. We've also applied the same approach to our town comprehensive plan, mailing out over 9,000 surveys to households to ensure a broad public engagement. The town board remains dedicated to listening to our residents and responding in a timely and respectful manner. I will bring the same discipline and dedication to public service. Orchard Park deserves a supervisor who understands both big picture and day-to-day activities. Someone who can bring balanced, smart growth with financial integrity and protect our community values. This
Thank you.
campaign is about being present.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our first question will go to Marie Mann to start this off. Do you consider the position a full-time job, and will you serve as a full-time supervisor?
Yes, I am fully aware that this position is a full-time role. Part of the reason that I opted to take on the position as a substitute teacher was that I knew it was something that would allow me to dedicate fully my time to the position and to the community and to the people in our schools, but understood that when I needed to step back, if I'm the successful candidate, that it was something that I would be able to do. So I'm fully dedicated to this being my full-time role. I'm dedicated to this community, both now and for the next 3 years. And I am very passionate about what the next 3 years will bring to this community. So I think it's very important that whatever candidate is the successful candidate, they prioritize this role, that they don't take on a secondary position, that they are willing to dedicate fully to this job, not just for today, but for the next 3 years, and that this should be their primary focus. And I'm fully committed to doing that for this town because I think it deserves it.
Yes, so I'm as well dedicated to serving the community on a full-time basis. I will be in office supporting whomever is coming to the door on the phone, via email, and I will respond to them within 24 hours. So my dedication is for you, for Orchard Park, and not for myself. So I will be here and dedicated and give you 100% of my time.
Thank you. The second question will go to Joseph. Joe or Joseph?
Joseph.
Joseph. How should the town go about encouraging and supporting developers in development?
So for development, I've been really spearheading the piece on commercial development for around the stadium area. I believe that we're lacking that type of development. So in order to make that accessible for them, I propose to make a streamlined process by consolidating some boards and making it easier for a developer to come in front of the planning board and the zoning board with their project. That's going to be my goal, is to streamline it, make it more efficient, so we can have that commercial development like boutique shops, restaurants, diners, and any type of small shops around the stadium and in the village area.
I think it's very important to support development. I think it's important to do it smart. I think it's important to do it fair. I think that whatever development that we have through the community, it should be equal access to all people, businesses, whether small or larger. I don't think that it should be focused on developers that are direct donators or donation-only developers, I should say. I think that it's important that everybody gets a fair shake in order to have a fair and balanced community. And I think it's important that we continue to grow, because as we see from downtown, we have a lot of empty storefronts. We have a lot of concerning empty buildings. So I think it's important that not only do we encourage development, but we also have to hold the current people that own those properties to task, that they actually fill that they don't have a lot of open vacancies. We have to work to make sure that we encourage development not only of new properties, but continuing to develop the empty spaces that we have in this town versus just allowing them to continue to be empty. But I am very strongly in support of business and growth in this town for the future and success of Orchard Park. So I will be, working hard. I think those are some great ideas to make sure that people are getting equal access and quick access to the town boards.
Thank you. The next question to Marie. Has your campaign accepted any money donations from a developer Or has the developer who did donate to your campaign received any zoning preference?
They have not. I do not have any major donors to my campaign. Most of my donations have come from smaller donations, friends, family, neighbors. I appreciate everyone who's given to my campaign. We don't have a huge kitty in my campaign, but we've made it stretch very far. And I do not have any campaign developers that have donated to my campaign at this time.
I've had a few developers from a residential parcel where they have donated to the campaign. However, I hold them in the same standard as any other donor. I don't give them preferential treatment. I treat them as anybody else. They have to go through the planning process. They have to go through the zoning process in order for that subdivision to get built or any home to get built. And that's strictly it. And it's not a large denomination. My filings are up to date, and you can go to the website on the Board of Elections to see whom has donated to my campaign over the years.
Thank you. The next question, leading to you, Joseph. How do you propose for more transparency and openness in Orchard Park town government? And can you explain how we can do that?
Sure. I think I've already started to do that. We've never had a public forum with the stadium project. We've had 3 forums. I think in the whole history of Orchard Park, we have never done that. And I started that where we had, like I said, we've had 3 forums. We had over 150 people in these sessions where we listened and we gathered data and we made the project better. We came into the project where we thought, we had our own ideas, but then when we took public input, that totally evolved the project. I think it made a better project as well. So being transparent, I'm probably too transparent, and that's probably to my detriment, but I would rather see the residents know what's going on instead of acting behind the scenes. So when I get if I get the office, I will be totally transparent with you, and if I'm not, then you can hold me accountable.
I believe in transparency as well. I actually don't think you can be too transparent, but I commend you for that. I think it's really important that we continue to have an open town government. I've been to some of the town board meetings where the doors are closed and there's a security person in front of the door. It doesn't give a feeling that you're welcome in the town meetings. I would change that pretty drastically. I think it would be very important to have an open, welcome setting where all residents knew that they were available to come in, talk, ask questions, be able to challenge the town government as needed. I think it's really important that we have more communication. I noticed that the village has a really fantastic way of communicating with their members. They have monthly newsletters, things like that, so people really understand what's happening in their town. I would really like to implement that so people in not just the village know what's happening on a daily basis, that people in the town truly understand what's going on, what's happening. I think we need to do more than just post the minutes, but really communicate clearly and concisely with our residents so they understand the decisions that are being made and the choices that are being made that impact them every single day. So I think very important communication and transparency needs to happen in order for residents to feel truly engaged.
Thank you. The next question will be to Maria again. Other towns do it. Consider posting and paid expenses on the website for openness and transparency. What are your thoughts about that?
Our budget is on the town website, so I guess I would like a little bit more understanding of the question. I guess they asked, well, I guess you wouldn't know because you didn't write the question. I think it's important to post what's happening and to make sure that you have the transparency. I'm not sure if they're talking about salaries. I know in the past that has happened where there were salaries posted. Sorry, I know I'm rambling, but I'm not really 100% sure what the question is, but I certainly think it's important that we post the annual budget, that you update, keep people clear, on what dollars are being spent.
Thank you.
I hope that answers
I could
it.
ask one more part to that.
Okay.
I did understand the writings here.
Okay.
Posting all paid expenses. That
Yeah,
was
I
complicated.
think it makes sense to post all paid expenses on the website so people understand where their dollars are going and understanding, if we're over in certain budgets where that's coming from, and it's important that people understand where their tax dollars are going and how it's being spent.
Thank you. Should I repeat it?
No, you're good. Well, that's the reason why I got involved with becoming a council person. I wanted to know where our tax dollars were going. And there is a website out there that we're going to take a look at in 26. It's called clear.gov. And that website will actually tell you by the penny where you are from a transactional point of view, from salaries to expenses, from, let's say, papers, pen, miscellaneous, travel, etc., all the way down to heavy equipment. So that's something that we're definitely going to take a look at, because like I said, I'm very transparent. I want everyone to know where their dollars are going and how they're being spent. They should be spent wisely, and that's how we're going to handle it in 26 and 27 and 28.
Thank you. The next question to Joseph. Do you support the idea the bills or the county paying for Orchard Park's police services at stadium events?
That's a great question. So we just started to rebuild that relationship with the Buffalo Bills, and we've had that conversation with Pete over at the stadium. And unfortunately, it's very difficult for the Bills to pay for our police force, but there's other ways around it that we could kind of take a look at where they can invest, where the Buffalo Bills can invest in. And since the county's going to be out of this in 26, since the state's taking over, so I would like to see the Buffalo Bills invest more into the community and less into our police force, where we know that we can't get $1 from it. So more community involvement, more community spend, and more safety from the Buffalo Bills. That's what I'd like to see.
I think that, I actually align a lot with what Joe's saying on this one. I think that it would be nice to have the bills pay for the police and not have it come out of our budget, but I don't think that that's something that we can probably insist upon. I think it's important, we can work with the bills to invest in our community, to help make sure they're supporting our community in other ways. I think that we should continue to keep the police force supporting that and make sure we have enough budget in enough money in our budget to assure that we can cover that expenditure, as well as not take away from other safety measures within the community and other safety resources within the community. But I do think that that money would most likely stay within our police budget.
Thank you. This question is for you, Marie. Will the town publicly advertise for all appointments, all vacancies, and all jobs, civil servant or not, publicly announce that they're hiring of all consultants and legal firms?
I think that the town should. I think it's important that we should be posting all roles and all vacancies. I think it's important that we advertise to make sure we're getting the best people in those roles. We don't want to just give jobs to people that are our friends and family. We want to make sure that everyone who's taking a post is the right person for it, the most qualified person for it, that we're interviewing them and giving everybody a fair shake at receiving these jobs. So I think it's vital that we post all of them, and again, not just in a small budget item or just maybe something quietly on a town board light item, a town board meeting light item. I think it's important that we, again, whether it would be through the communication, a newsletter, that people are aware what jobs are out there, so we can give equal opportunity to everyone in the community to apply for those jobs, and that we get the best people in those roles.
This is something that we've talked about, and I know David, even, I'm not putting him on the spot here, but we are going to update our town website, and on the website it'll have open positions across the board, even civil service. So we want to make sure that we're getting the best candidates for every single role that we have in Orchard Park. So again, when I say transparency, this is kind of what I'm talking about, that we need to get every role out there, so anybody in the town or outside of the town, depending on the role, can apply for that position. And this is something that I'm pushing for. And Bill and I, we've already started talking about it. Paul Pepero, I pulled him into the mix as well. He's our IT director. So we're going to have that. We're going to get that up and running so we can get that moving. We actually got that idea from one of our town residents. Can't say who, but I'm looking at it right now.
Thank you.
That was number 7, right?
This question goes to Joseph to start. Recent, and this is going to be a combined one. Recent events say Orchard Park Police are not accredited by the state of New York, meaning they do not meet the standards. Recent, and also a recent tragedy, tragic shooting by the police in Orchard Park has raised the question of wearing body cams and the fact that the police don't wear them. The question can be chose to wear them or not. What is your position on the police with their standards and OP wearing body cameras?
First of all, I support our police force. Body cams should be worn 24/7, unless they're doing something personal. So if they're on the job, they should be wearing them 100% of the time. You mentioned certification. I believe certification is not a checkbox. It's a commitment to professionalism and accountability and public trust. So I will lead a focused collaboration with our police chief to ensure that our police force is certified in the coming years. So one, you have to establish a clear roadmap, and I'll work with the chief and the town board to identify the exact standards required by New York State, whether through the DCJS accreditation or other recognized programs. And we'll set a timeline with measurable, monumental milestones so we can ensure that they are accredited and they're effectual. So I will definitely work with them to get that accomplished.
I would also work with the police chief to try to make sure we focus on getting accreditation. I have a handful of policemen in my family, and I was speaking with one of them about the options of why you wouldn't get accredited, why you wouldn't wear police or body cams. And he was actually surprised. He felt that it really protects the police force in addition to protecting the residents. So I would also want to work with the chief to make sure that we work towards that accreditation. It's important for residents to feel safe. And I know that for many residents, they don't feel safe, knowing that we don't have these policies and procedures in place. So I would think it would be very important that we start working towards that. I do think that body cams are important as well. Again, not just to protect our residents, it does protect our police force as well. Because it's very important to understand that everybody is a videographer these days. Everybody has a video in their phone. And so it's important to make sure that we are getting clear and accurate information on what's happening at these stops, not just to protect residents, to protect the police. And so I think that it's something that we need to work with them to make sure we're getting up to date on, to make sure our community is safe and protected. And that's something I would work to do.
Thank you. Would you support term limits for all elected officials in the town? Why or why?
I across the board think term limits are important. I think as times change and as communities change and grow, it's important that you don't have the same person in there all the time. I think it's important that, career politicians, they tend to get stagnant. I think that they tend to get a little bit set in their ways, and you don't always see progress when that happens. So I'm a big supporter of term limits. I'm not sure 100% on where they would be for every single role, but that is something I do support.
I would support term limits as well. I think, being in this seat today, it took about a year or two to get your feet wet. And I actually went through the ranks. I went from the zoning board to the planning board and then to the town board. It took almost 2 years to learn our town government and what it does and how it acts and how it works. So term limits, I'm not sure what it looks like, whether it's 2 or 3, but you're not effective, until your second year as a council person. Because you're still learning. You're learning the code, you're learning zoning regulations, you're learning planning, you're learning department heads, so it takes a while. However, I do support it. I don't know what it looks like today, but it could be something in the future.
Thank you. Question, do you support the issue that no major official of a political party should hold an elected or appointed position in the town government?
Yeah.
Yes, it shows up, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
sorry.
Oh, I thought we had the tennis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Can you just repeat that?
Do you support the issue that no major official of a political party should hold an elected or be appointed position in the town government?
No major,
Political party, remember,
Or do they?
I
mean
would say
chairs?
chair.
I think they're asking if the chair.
is the chair, or the chairs, sub-chairs, I don't know what they're
oh, okay. Well, I think the best person has to be put in that role, whether it is somebody that is, running a political party, or, somebody that is a committee person. I think anybody that is best suited for that seat, they should interview for that role. If they interviewed well and they're part of that major, like the chairman, then that's great. I don't see any bias on why we should have anybody, removed if they're the best candidate and they can help the town out. If they're helping the town, then they should be in that seat. If they're not helping, then we have to hold them accountable. And that's when we would remove them from that position and put somebody else in that role.
Yeah, I don't think I would see an issue with a chair being appointed or holding office, because I think whether you're the chair or not, I mean, I can see some of the concern that, okay, if a chair is there, they might have a little bit more sway to stack some of the committees or stack other people within the town government with their own people, but I don't think that you need to be a chair to do that. I think we can see in a lot of local governments that that's happening already, that certain people are given positions or appointed to roles within the political parties anyway. So I don't know if you need the chair and restricting the chair in order to kind of relieve that concern. I agree, I think it should be the best person for the role, and I think that, you can find people acting maybe not in the best interest of the community and in the best interest of their party, whether or not they're in a chair role.
Thank you. This next question is, please tell us from your viewpoint, why Orchard Park is behind Hamburg in East Aurora, as they look like they're booming towns and we're a little behind.
I do think some of that, I think it's hard to compare them perfectly in terms of the two, the three different villages. But I do think some of the choices that are being made by the board are part of the reason that we're seeing empty storefronts. I do think I've heard from a lot of people, be it people that are active business owners in this town. I've heard from people that have tried to do business in the town, that our board is very difficult to work with. It's very difficult to get meetings with them. It can be difficult to get callbacks from them. I heard, a developer say that he sits out in front of the municipal building just to try to interact with one of the members of the board. And I think that kind of governance is not going to build and lead to success within our community. So I think that we need to take a change in the way that we are doing the development in this town, the way that we interact with businesses and business owners. And I just think that some of the policies that are in place right now and on the books are not encouraging business to come into Orchard Park or to leave Orchard Park. We've seen a lot of businesses leave. Some of them are going to Hamburg and East Aurora, and I don't think that just happens in a void. I think that happens because of decisions being made in the government, and that we need to take a different approach to do business with people in order to grow Orchard Park into a more successful community. I do also think some of our roadways, actually it seems odd, but I went to a really great presentation that was done downtown about the traffic surveys, and they talked a lot about how our downtown is set up. It is not set up in a business-friendly way. It scares away people and residents from even walking around downtown. We don't have very safe sidewalks. We don't have very safe streets. We have way too high speed limits in many areas, and those are all things that I think that we need to address to make this a more business-friendly town, to encourage people to come and do business here.